Hey everybody, welcome to the second show for Dot's Diaries. I'm Claire Lawrence, your host, the dog owner, the dog trainer, the handler involved in Dot's rehabilitation. It's all me. I'm doing everything, videoing, dog training, getting bitten, all that sort of stuff. No, seriously, I wanted to open this video with a bit of a revelation on what I found about Dot, and most of today's content is going to be about the observations that I found with her. There's been loads and I don't really know where to start. I think probably the best place to start, is inside, because if you remember on the last week video, I did get bitten. I've been bitten twice by this dog. Once on the hand, which was kind of like a nip, get away from my food bowl, totally my fault. Second time, she really went at me and she meant it, and I had to raise my voice. I had to be big and scary, and mostly because I was scared that she was not going to stop. You know, she was really going at me. And we kind of found a level after that. I was like, okay, you cannot tolerate people or anything near your food bowl in that same room. So I had a big lesson from that, because whilst I have dealt with a little bit of resource guarding over the years, I've never dealt with something that extreme. And I have wonderful content and additional bonuses for you in this week's lesson from the lady that I got advice for on this issue, with Kerry Ward, the fairy dog mother, and she really helped talk me through the resource guarding process for escalations in this type. So I'll fire a link in the comments for you in the description, for you to go and check that out, and if you have resource guarding issues. So back to Dot. We got to this point where I was like, okay, the food bowl has got to go. I can't put up with this. I can't deal with this. Dot can't deal with this. Let's just get rid of that food bowl. And we did, and everything's been plain sailing and happy ever since. So we have no resource guarding over food. We have a little bit of guarding over space. She doesn't particularly like her crate, and of course the food bowl. Everything else, other than the dogs, has been perfect. I would say perfect. She's been a dream little dog. As I say, with the crate, she doesn't particularly like going in it. She's a young dog. She likes her attention. She likes her connection. She doesn't like that component. So we've been doing a lot of work on training Dot that the bed is a great place to be. Now here's the caveat with foster dogs and integrations. After she bit me, I felt more comfortable having her muzzled in the house, especially as I was getting to know her, she was getting to know me. I was observing her behaviour. That's all we've done really this last few weeks, is observing and having fun. And I felt better in the knowledge that she was muzzled. She wasn't particularly a fan of it, but we kind of find a happy medium. So the muzzle went on. Outside, she was a dream. We'll talk more about that in another session, I think. I think we'll keep this to observations in the house. And so once I felt more comfortable, and once I could see that she was relaxing, because, it's a stressful experience for any dog, I think, to go into a new place and to have their life turned upside down, and to be with this new person and these new smells and this new setup and this new routine. It can be worrying for an already anxious dog. So over the days, I was just continued observing her, and one thing I noticed first was that this dog did not toilet. I was like, I'm used to my dogs going out like 3 or 4 times a day. Their bladders aren't what they used to. We all know what that's like, right? We get older, we need to go to the loo more. I was like, okay, yeah, I can see that a young dog is going to hold themselves more than an older one potentially. But I started getting to the point where I was a little bit concerned, I was like, okay, she's coming out in the morning, she was having a good run around in the field, not toileting. Right, come lunchtime, I was taking her out for her outside assessments and seeing where we were at there, still no toileting. And I think the record for Dot is that she went like 18 hours. 18 hours until she had a pee. And I tell you what, the relief when she had that was incredible. But here's the thing, right? She did not feel safe enough to go to the toilet. And I now know that because we're more into a routine. She gets up and she goes out the back and she has a pee, and we'll go on the field and she'll have another one, and she's becoming a lot more comfortable within the grounds to be able to go to the toilet and and feel comfortable doing that. So that was the first thing that I noticed with Dot is that toileting. And I started seeing her become more comfortable in other ways. She was happy to see me instead of tense and like, oh, scared. You're not scared look that they can have on their faces. Ears back. Oh, please don't hurt me. Like, me, I'm not going to hurt you. So we really built up a relationship. And I started to feel and get to the point where I could feel comfortable taking that muzzle off in the house. Now, just as a side note to this, I had been hand feeding her outside. You know, I didn't leave her for days on end with no food. Of course, I didn't do that. I felt comfortable handling her outside because we have masses of spaces. She was on the long line. If she wanted to retreat, she could. We had no problems with hand feeding. And so I started introducing the hand feeding inside, just starting with basic biscuits. Just basic biscuits, nothing too strenuous. If I dropped one, I just backed off. And we had no resource guarding problems there, which I was really thankful about, because I thought, oh gosh, if she starts guarding a dropped biscuit, I'm screwed, you know, we're in a contained place. But she didn't. And slowly over the process of this relationship building and this getting to know each other, the muzzle came off and I started moving towards using higher value food. So she came to me with 4th grade pouches and I was cutting up those and I was hand feeding those. I thought, okay, that's going good. We're getting to a nice place. I think she's starting to realise that I am giving and not taking, that I've never taken anything off her unless she's offered it to me, like in the sense of a toy, which we have no problems around toys. So I kept up with that for a few days. I was like, okay, Claire, come on, you know, you kind of, there's a big avoidance here. The big elephant in the room was getting to the point where I could feed her in that crate and teach her and hopefully help her to realise that that crate is your safe space. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to take away. I'm not going to hassle you. The problem being is that she doesn't particularly like being in the crate. So that was another challenge that I've been having to face. So I'm just starting there. We will get to more resource guarding and I'll detail more of that in another video. But a lot of what we've been working on this past week is hand feeding, having maximum amounts of fun. We're fortunate that we've got the field. She can have a good blast around there for a toy and a ball, and this bed training. Let's create a more positive association with this bed so that you're not like, oh, I don't want to go in there, and panicking when she's being left. And I was pleased to report that the work is paying off. And we just started with simple behaviours such as go into your bed, and she'd go in, or she'd just look at the bed and I would reward in that bed. Oh, okay. And because she's so smart, like she picked this up instantly. I'm pretty sure that she's had some bed training before, which helped. It's just a repetitive cycle of go to bed and we're building in the lie down, and I would feed and I would feed. And then I would move on to, and there's a point in this video that you'll be able to see over this, where I go to shut the door and you can see that she gets up and she's like, no, I can't do that. I'm like, okay, let's just drop that criteria back a little bit. Go to bed and I'll just reward you for that. And we'll just reward slight movements of the door. And what you can see in the video is where we're up to currently with this. Unfortunately, I do have to shut the crate door on her at some points, but I try not to do that in the training setup. After we finish the training and after she's had her breakfast, she can have freedom. We go outside again. We have a play session. And when I do have to close the door, I send her in with a chew or something really tasty to kind of ease the blow a little bit. She still doesn't like that. It will hold us back a little bit, but I have to crate the dog. She can't yet be trusted out of the crate, and I can't mingle her with my dogs yet. She's not ready. I think these guys will be okay when we do get to that point, but Dot is just not ready for that yet. She just totally freaked out when Sky went into the room, and that just said it all for me. So yeah, that's where we've been getting with Dot. We've just been working on that bed training. I hope seeing this has been useful for you if you're struggling with the dog with resource guarding issues or going to their bed training. I hope this will be a useful class. As I said, I'll pop Kerry's details for the resource guarding content down below. Please go and see her. It's somebody I put my trust in, so that should say a lot. I don't trust my dogs with many people or the advice that I get given, so that should speak volumes for you. And we'll leave it there for this week's Dot's Diaries. I've rambled on for 10 minutes. I will hope it's been useful. As I said at the beginning, please interact with this video, please share, please comment, please like, because the more people that interact with this, the more people will be able to see this, and hopefully through this channel and through my other channels, we'll be able to find Dot her perfect and forever lasting home. So I will see you next week for the second week of Dot's Diaries and the third show, and you can find out more about what we've been up to and what we've been training with Dot. Ciao for now. This isn't going to be a great video, but can you hear that? This is the first night we've had no barking when I've put her to bed. Yeah.